She woke up beside her husband, smiling, comforted, until his scent felt wrong. That wasn't Halen. So, who was sleeping in her bed? It was one regular night. Jane lay still, arms behind her head, watching raindrops race down the clear ceiling. The world outside felt heavy, but inside, it was calm, safe. Just then, her phone lit up on the nightstand. A message from Halen, her husband. "Good night, sweetheart. At the airport. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, I'll be beside you." Jane smiled. Her heart skipped a beat, just like it always did when she saw his name. She blushed, her mind drifting back to the day he proposed to her, right in the middle of their high school classroom. The whole class had gone wild. It was chaos. But through it all, the only thing Jane could sense was Halen's smell, the way he always wore the same warm cologne that made her feel safe. They'd been together 8 years now, from teenagers to a married couple. Thinking of that, Jane finally drifted off to sleep. Sunlight slowly crept into the room. The soft golden rays touched Jane's face as she turned to the side, her eyes barely opening. She could see a blurry figure sitting up in the bed and walking towards the bathroom. She didn't think twice. It was Halen. Smiling to herself, Jane turned over and let herself enjoy a few more minutes of sleep. 20 minutes later, the man returned. He gently woke her up, placing a cup of hot coffee in her hand. Jane sat up, her eyes still adjusting to the light. She smiled, took the coffee, and walked toward him to give him a hug. But something felt off. His scent. She paused, took a step back, looked up at him, finally seeing his face clearly. "Who are you?" she whispered, backing away. He tilted his head, confused. "What do you mean? I'm Halen." "No, you're not!" she screamed, panic flooding her chest. Barefoot and shaking, she sprinted to the next house, her sister's, crying uncontrollably. New man followed her. But the strangest part came when her sister opened the door and asked, "Oh, Halen, you came early." Her sister's kids rushed to his feet, yelling, "Hi, Uncle Halen!" Jane froze. Everything around her spun in circles. She collapsed on the floor. When she woke up, she was in the hospital. A doctor leaned over her gently. "Stress, maybe a hallucination. She needs rest," he said to her sister. Back at home, nothing felt right. Small things, picture frames, curtains, even the bed sheets were different. Familiar, yet not. Everyone around her acted normal, but Jane's heart screamed something was wrong. She lay on the bed, her eyes scanning the ceiling, trying to remember. She felt it, something. A memory is trying to resurface. A text from Halen just before she passed out the night before. She couldn't fully recall it. Her brain felt fuzzy, like it was wrapped in fog. But then there was something else. That sensation of someone touching her, injecting her. Yes, that's what it felt like. She sat up in shock. Standing near her was her sister's husband. He smiled gently, touching her hand. "How are you, my little princess?" This man, her sister's husband, was the father figure she'd grown up with. Ever since she was little, he was the one who picked her up from school, brought her books, and played silly games with her, even during his tight research schedule. Jane's body tensed, her lips trembled, ready to tell him everything, but something in her mind stopped her. So she smiled instead. "I just need a little rest," she whispered. Later that night, everyone stayed with her. The man claiming to be Halen, her sister, the kids. But her heart was pounding. She kept thinking, why did I feel my sister's husband's touch during that injection? He's never done anything wrong, but something is not right. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was just a regular notification. But for Jane, it was like a thunderbolt. It suddenly reminded her of the last real message from Halen. "Be safe. Things are not good around you." That message, she knew now, wasn't a dream. It was real. Without saying a word, while everyone was busy eating dinner downstairs, Jane quietly walked to her room. She locked her room door and climbed into the hidden attic space that no one else knew about. It was a small private corner she and Halen had made together when they first moved in. In that secret space, behind an old wooden shelf, was a tiny camera Halen had once installed to see animals. It was a color camera, and it recorded sound too. Her hands shook as she plugged it in. She hit rewind and then play. What she saw shattered her. Without saying anything, she ran straight to the police, with the footage sister's husband hitting Halen and dragging him to the basement. Hours later, they rescued Halen, alive, barely conscious, locked inside the basement. And then, everything came out. Jane's sister's husband confessed it all. He had always loved Jane as his own child. From the time she was young, he believed she was special. So he created an experimental serum, his secret research. Something he believed would give her more power in sensing. He'd been injecting her while she slept for years. When Jane grew up and fell in love with Halen, he felt like he was losing her. Still, he continued injecting her secretly whenever he could. But one of his research students, who had a grudge, found out and warned Halen. That night, when Halen came home early to confront him, he panicked, knocked him out, hid him in the basement, replaced him with another man who'd been manipulated into thinking he was Halen. Simply, he tried to change the whole world, just so Jane wouldn't hate him. He even forced Jane's sister and her kids to play along, blackmailing them, saying if they didn't act like everything was normal, he'd hurt Halen. They were scared. They obeyed. Jane stayed silent. Who could she blame? It was all love, no villains, no sides to hate.